Welcome to Senior Solutions. I'm your host, Karen Halloran from Azure Healthcare. Today we have on the show Nicole Barrett from Windrose of Woburn. Welcome to the show, Nicole. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. The pleasure's all mine. I'm so happy to be here with you.
I'm so excited to learn more about Windrose. Why don't we start first? Tell us a little bit about you. How did you get into the industry?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So my background is in social work. I got my bachelor's from LaSalle University. After I graduated, I moved to Hawaii, and and I became a case manager for adults with intellectual disabilities. Prior to that, I'd had experience with one-on-one caregiving, and that's kind of what made me fall in love with the helping professions. When I moved back to the mainland, I took a quick hiatus, and I wanted a trade that I could take with me wherever I go, so I became a licensed cosmetologist. So I was a hairstylist for 4 years, and I realized that I had a deeper calling. I wanted the work that I did to be able to give back, not just to individuals one-on-one, but to the community at large. And I found myself attracted to senior citizens because I really have a deep reverence for our ancestors, and I feel like there's so much that we can learn in celebrating legacy and what it truly means to be an integrated community where we're supporting our most vulnerable population.
Wow, that's great. And you have such an eclectic work experience. Well, I'm so glad you're in this industry because it's a great fit for you.
Me too.
And then why don't we just jump right in talking about Windrose. Windrose is a memory care assisted living, correct?
Absolutely.
What exactly is memory care?
It's a great question, thank you, because in the assisted living realm, there are different categories, and when individuals are confronted with diagnosis like Parkinson's, dementia, Alzheimer's, the way the symptoms present can make living at home unsafe. However, they are still able to engage in a social model, and that's really what we're trying to foster. Before medical needs become too advanced, as we know, Alzheimer's and dementia diagnoses are happening younger and younger. And just to bring it back to my point about community and the importance of community and socialization for those with Alzheimer's and dementia, what we seek to provide at Windrose is a intimate communal experience where people are able to preserve their vitality by engaging with their peers and others for as long as humanly possible.
That is great. And I have been to your community. It is gorgeous. What an unbelievable community.
Thank you. We're definitely not going to be the biggest or the fanciest, but that is by design. As we know from research and our personal experiences, individuals with Alzheimer's or dementia can be overwhelmed by these grand hallways and landscapes internally. So our property is designed so that when our residents come out of their apartment units, they have a visual access to the entire space, and that helps de-escalate any symptoms of anxiety or confusion or agitation. And we really find that it mimics a home setting in a really authentic way that feels genuine to both the residents and their families.
That's great. And what should somebody look for when that would tell them about the community? When they're looking for a community, what should they look for?
And that's such an important question. I thank you for asking it because it's such a daunting task to find residential care for a loved one when that bridge has been crossed where safety is now a primary concern and assistance is needed beyond what a family can provide. So when I tell families that are looking that to really pay attention to the way the staff interacts not only with each other but with the residents. When you're being taken on a tour to this place, does the person taking you on a tour, do they know the residents' names? Are they engaging? Are the activities things that seem to be captivating their audience, or are they just kind of going through the motions? Another thing to ask about would be care ratios in terms of staff to patient. Industry standard is about 1 to 8, 1 to 9. As we are a smaller facility, we only have 2 floors. Maximum occupancy is 35 residents, and again, by design, that is for the benefit of our entire community and population. And our care ratios are 1 to 4 during the day and 1 to 5 during the evening, so that our residents can really enjoy the one-on-one experience with our care providers.
That's unbelievable, the ratios and everything. That's really good. How does somebody know when it's time to go to a memory care assisted living?
That's, again, a really great question, and that's something that I take really seriously when I talk to families. And I encourage people watching at home, if you have a question about memory care or the what-ifs that come with old age, even if there's not a presenting problem, please reach out. It's so important to have the information before you need it. And so I really would encourage people to pay close attention to sort of subtle cues. For example, if safety is becoming a concern because of things that are chalked up to forgetfulness, leaving the stove on, wandering, things like that, not being able to do the tasks of daily living like dressing or toileting, becoming disoriented and excessive in behavior. You know, maybe you're an adult child and your elderly mother, father, uncle, loved one is calling you excessively. I mean, these are sort of tips that maybe it's time to talk to a neurologist to get a diagnosis.
So can somebody live independently with you and still be easily redirected?
Absolutely, and that's the biggest thing came on this program to do, is sort of advocate for the proper application of memory care. While we encourage all manners of need in our community, and we are certainly capable and have helped many residents transition to the end of life, our model is something that people can benefit with early onsets, dementia and Alzheimer's. And we find that the earlier they're introduced, the more they're able to hold on to those bits of vitality. When a family is in charge of meals, toileting, healthcare appointments, activities, that person is not receiving an engaging social life, no matter how well-meaning the care provider can be. I can't be as entertaining to you as a 5-piece band. I mean, that's just the
Right.
logistics. I don't have the instruments, I don't have the tools, I don't have the resources, and that was really what Windrose can offer.
I was going to ask you, how can a family benefit from a memory care assisted living? But I think you just answered that. I mean, and it helps with caregiver burnout.
Absolutely.
We know taking care of people firsthand is not an easy task.
Absolutely.
So I'm sure the families come to you that are very happy.
And we are starting monthly support groups with an educational component, so I encourage any community organizations in the area, if they'd like to partner with us, to reach out as well. People need an opportunity to voice these concerns, and it's a really daunting problem, so we're happy to be an institution that can provide that for them.
What do you think is different at Windrose than elsewhere, at other places?
I think what you will experience if you come to tour with us at Windrose is a dedication that surpasses what the bigger institutions can provide. It is the care ratios that gives us the intimacy of community. There may be people that might not recognize my name if they heard it, but they see me and they come say hi to me every single day. And when you are someone with dementia and you're seeing a certain number of caregivers a week, the difference between 5 caregivers a week and 17 caregivers a week, that is a serious, serious gap. And when you're seeing 5 caregivers a week, although you have a memory problem, these people are not interchangeable in the way that we might think without doing our proper research. It's important that somebody has a routine, a sense of normalcy, a structure that only a smaller, intimate setting can provide. I would love for Windrose to be sort of our shining beacon on the hill as an example for what memory care can be in a small setting. You're providing that that one-on-one type atmosphere that people are really looking for when they're looking for a residential choice. And with 35 people, we have the ability to review case by case every single day all of our residents' needs. with every member of our department from.
I love the fact that it's so small and intimate. And even still, families do deal with guilt.
Mm-hmm.
How do you handle, families that are dealing with guilt?
I think that it's important, and again, these families will hear all manners of cliche, but the reason these things are so commonly used is because there's a fundamental truth to them, and that is that you can't pour from an empty cup. You cannot serve others if you are depleted yourself, and the majority of the families that I interact with, they are depleted. They are in need of resources, help, assistance, and they are afraid to take that last step by making that transition to residential living because they promised mom or dad they'd never do that. And my answer to that really is that it's so important that we have social interactions with our peers and not just manicured tiny moments of time in between tasks. And I say to these adult children, you deserve to have a relationship with mom and dad, and you are not able to have a full relationship with them as a child parent if you are also the caregiver. Let us be the bad guy, so to speak, when it comes to diets. You be the person that sneaks in the cookies. That's a much better way to enjoy that relationship. And I would also extend that to, when we're talking about memory care, we're fighting against a lot of deeply held fears and stereotypes. A lot of people will say, if that ever happens to me, you'll hear this in your everyday life, just XYZ, insert some sort of kind of thinly veiled joke. And what's interesting to me is we would never say that about any other disability.
Right.
And that is what Alzheimer's is. It is a disability. It's a debilitating condition, and we need to take it seriously. We need to advocate for disability rights in all manners, and that's really what I would say to empower those families. You're not making this somebody else's problem. You're advocating for the best quality of life you can for your loved one, and there is such honor in that difficult decision.
Absolutely. You had mentioned about staffing ratios, and that's a question families should ask when they're going around. Are there any other questions you can think of that they should ask?
Absolutely. One question to ask is, are there activities 7 days a week? If so, who does them? How many activities people are there? For example, we're a very small building, but we are in no way, shape, or form a small activities department. We have an activities director, and she has 4 activities coordinators, and they work 7 days a week. So it's important that these activities are meaningful and tailored to the community. Is there a diverse activities? And is there a case where television is being supplemented for actual activities? Now again, someone might have a good answer for that. We watch Carol Burnett but these are questions just to keep people on their toes when you are on a tour, because really they should be trying to appeal to you. This is you should want the most exceptional form of care for your loved one. And another thing to ask about that I would say is the longevity of the staff. How long have people been there? Is there a lot of turnover, especially in memory care, like we were saying, with the different faces versus friendly faces? It's so important that you have a community that has a stable workforce.
That's great. I can see your passion. I really can. It shines through. What makes you so passionate?
I think that in addition to advocating for vulnerable populations, I think that we all have questions about our own mortality and what happens when we start to struggle. And I truly believe that it is our job as able-bodied, adults to advocate for those who don't have a voice. And truly, there is a population that is voiceless in those that are diagnosed with dementia or Alzheimer's. They're not able to tell you how the food is at this place. They're not able to articulate what kind of care they're receiving. And so as a community relations director, my role is to make sure that the community is aware on the issues that our population struggles with, and really bring the community in, because as with children, it takes a village. We all need to be here to support each other. And I do believe that small settings is the way. And if you have any questions, you can call me at 781-935-3333. I'd love to have a candid conversation with you. And if we are not the right fit for you, I can guarantee we will help you get the help you need.
Oh, that's great, Nicole. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I really like to thank you for coming on the show. I've learned a lot. Your community is fabulous. If anyone really is looking for memory care, I would encourage you to get in touch with Nicole. I'd like to end the show with 3 questions. So the first question is, tell us a fun fact about you. It can be anything.
Well, I would normally say that my favorite ice cream is mint chocolate chip, only if it's green. But I recently got engaged. So
Oh, congratulations.
A shout out to James Robert Williams, my future husband. Yes, they're clapping in the sound booth for me. I'm blushing now. 2 thumbs way up.
Well, that's fantastic. Wish you lots of luck.
Thank you.
And then the second question is, we love animals, pets. So do you have any pets at home?
Yes, absolutely. As you can imagine, I have a soft spot for animals as well, being vulnerable populations that don't have a voice. So I would encourage everybody at home to adopt, don't shop. I have 2 pit bull mixes, Carol and Sprinkles.
Oh, that's great. And the final question is, it's summer. Everybody's planning on going somewhere or taking some time off for a staycation. Do you have any plans this summer?
And I swear I did not, this isn't just because I'm on Danvers Public Access, but I am a Salem girl and I want to get around all the local parks and just the kind of less touristy spots of Massachusetts that I just don't get a chance to as much.
That's great. That's great. I hope you have a fantastic summer.
Thank you.
Once again, thank you for coming on the show, and I've really enjoyed speaking with you.
Thank you so much, Karen. Appreciate it.
And thank you for tuning in today. Until next time, have a great day.